Welcome back to Week 0. I'm here with Jesse, the president I'm about to say first. I don't believe that's correct.
No,
it's president
of the Northern Minnesota Robotics Conference.
It's NMRC. Yep. So it is Week 0.
Mm-hmm.
Let's start there. We'll get to your team as well, but let's start there. How's Week 0 going for you?
It's been good. We were here late last night setting up the field for the first time ever, and it always takes a little bit longer to do that before you know how it all goes together, but I've got some good compliments on that so far today. Seems like teams are out there testing their stuff, and that's what we're doing this for. Before they get to their big regional event, we need to do this Week 0 so we can work the bugs out, so you're not spending all that money to go compete and figuring out your problems at that point. So
right,
that's what the day is all about.
Yes, 100%. Again, I always think of it like, hey, it's the preseason games, it's all that. It's getting all the bugs, like you said, bugs worked out. Now, you did say getting a lot of compliments on the field itself. Here's another one. The field looks absolutely crazy this year. Yeah. The game seems really crazy this year. So how did this all come together? How is this the final product?
Sure. Well, in the beginning of January, first releases the game for the year that everybody in the world's going to play. And then release the drawings of what the field's going to look like, the official field. And we try to emulate that the best we can. This is not an official field, but it's the closest recreation we can come. And you really need that sense of reality and accuracy to the field. So if you design a robot that works on this field, it'll work on the actual competition field too. So it was a lot of time. 4 different schools were part of making this happen, and some sponsors that helped us out. So from the pipes the purple pipes to the feed stations to the PVC pipes that were cut. I mean, it was a lot of kids and a lot of mentors doing a lot of work to put this together so we could come here today and use it. It'll also be used at different events throughout the year too. So this is just the first time it's being used.
Okay, so I just learned a lot there. So everything field-wise has been like students and mentors. They're building this stuff?
Yeah. Yep. For sure. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. The perimeter part where the side edges and the driver stations, that was a bot part, but everything that changes year to year is created by the teams.
Right. Okay.
Yep.
Wow. That's insane. Learning something every time. I swear. Week 0 is for everybody. Yep. But okay, so a lot has gone into that. A lot of positives and everything else. The game itself. How do you think the game is going to evolve, or how do you think the students are going to like it more and more throughout the season?
Every year it's an interesting concept, a brand new game. We've never dealt with this big green ball before. We've never dealt with a piece of PVC before in any historic FRC games. So it's always a challenge. This is what they call a pick and place game. So you're not shooting in things through a goal necessarily. You're grabbing and manipulating objects and placing them somewhere. And it's been a little while since we've had one of those in FRC. We did one back in 2022, I guess, kind of. But I think it's going to be interesting. Some of the rules have changed as far as defense and what you can and cannot do. So, I mean, there's going to be some speed coming in week 5, week 6 in the competition season where teams really get it dialed in. But placing those things and working together and trying to coordinate is going to be interesting to watch. Yeah.
Okay. Now, talking season long, everything else. For NMRC, anything new this year that wasn't new last year, or is everything pretty much similar?
Well, we're changing up a few things at the NMRC throughout the year. This field is going to be going up to Nevis next weekend, and they're going to have a similar thing, kind of like this, only on a smaller scale. Then it's going to be going down to Alexandria, where we'll be permanently set up at a sponsor's location, their facility, where kids can come in and practice in the evenings. They just have to schedule an appointment, and they can come in and test their stuff. Then it's going to be going over to Grand Forks, and it's going to be the practice field in Grand Forks, like it has been in years past. Then we'll be going back to Alexandria, and that'll be set up through the remainder of the season. It'll be going over to Fargo this summer for their STEM Alliance off-season competition, and then we'll probably finish up in October at Brainerd, which is going to be our championship location this year.
Okay.
So it's it gets a lot of miles on it. It moves around the state quite a bit, and but that's great. That's why we have it, and why we have it in a mobile form, and why we have the trailers to haul it. just to expose it to these different communities and get the kids on the field and using it. So.
Perfect. Well, all right. Putting the president hat down. Now we're talking more accelerators and regulators now for you. How are the teams going for you this year?
Well, we got some new kids on both teams. It's been a little bit of a struggle during the build season. It's always kind of hectic and crazy, but our girls competed in their first scrimmage match, and they scored a couple pieces, and we broke some stuff. So it's good to do it now rather than at the regular competition. So we're getting that fixed and figuring out what we can do to make it a little more robust. Our boys have been working all morning on finishing their robot. They didn't come down here with a robot that could be going out on the field yet. So hopefully by the end of the day they'll have enough together where they can get it out there and test it a little bit. But it's just, student availability, and the kids are into other things and they have other obligations, and it's tough to get all that work done in that such a short amount of time.
100%. Now, it is funny, we did just interview some of the students, and talking about breaking it during the first run there. So when that happens in week 0, I mean, I'm guessing in week 0 when you break something, it's not as a big like, oh, hair's on fire and we got to fix stuff instantly.
No. There's no trophy given out for today. There's no award. You don't advance by doing well today. This is a way to test your robot. And actually, as frustrating it is sometimes, I want stuff to break now so we can fix it in time for our regular event, because it needs to be running at near 100% at that point. And if it breaks today and we come up with a clever solution to make it so it won't happen again, that's what the day's for.
Perfect. So we always ask the students, what is the number one thing you're looking to take away from week 0 and everything else? For a mentor, what are you hoping that the students take away from week 0? What are you hoping to take away from week 0?
Sure. Well, it depends on the team, but I'd like to see these new kids get more involved and start working with the senior members of the team, get their hands in there. We have kids up in the stands that are working on scouting stuff. We have kids in the pit. We have some kids that are just going around taking pictures, just to get them comfortable in the environment that this is. I mean, this is a small scale compared to the regular events, if you've ever been to one. But get them comfortable, have them kind of find their place on what they enjoy doing and what they want to try to do for the season. So I'm looking for that. I'm looking for some robots steadily progressing through the day to get a little bit better every time. And as a mentor, just seeing the kids work together harmoniously is nice, but there is some stress. So just trying to get as far as we can on the building and refining and making sure the kids can get along for a whole day together.
It's a lot easier when the kids are getting along.
Yes,
I've heard that for sure.
Certainly, yes.
Now, last question before I let you go. It's week 0. What other events are you guys at, or that you're at this year?
Sure. For the Cass Lake teams, we're going to be both going over to Grand Forks, and that's a week 3 event, so that's mid-March. And then at the Alara Center is where that's going to be, and then we're going to be going down to Cedar Falls, Iowa. That'll be the first time we went to that event. That's at the university down there. So that'll be kind of an exciting road trip to get down there and check that one out. I've heard good things. The way that Minnesota is right now, it's really tough to get 2 events within our state or our boundaries. There's a lot of teams, and there's not enough events to accommodate. So a lot of teams have to travel. There's teams that are going to Colorado from Minnesota over to Wisconsin, but it gives the kids a new experience, so that's positive. But I think in the years to come, we'll see more events open up in Minnesota, so that travel necessity isn't always there. Yeah.
Perfect. Well, Jesse, it's always a pleasure.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for talking with us.
Absolutely.
Thank you. And for everybody else, we'll see you a bit. Welcome back to week 0 here at Ashby, and I am here with
Aaron Brown. 3275.
Okay, perfect. So, Aaron, what do you do for your team?
I'm basically the main driver.
Okay.
And basically the longest boy.
Oh, okay. Okay, perfect. So, have you guys? I know we've only gone. I think this is 3 or 4, whatever round. Have you played the game yet? Have you gone? Okay.
currently fixing our robot.
Okay.
Still getting it programmed.
Okay, no, fantastic. So, still fixing it. I mean, that's what week 0 is for. It's get out here, watch the game, fix the robot, get it ready for week 1, 2, and so on and so forth. So, what has been the hardest part or biggest hurdle that you guys have gone through yet?
I don't think really nothing is hard.
No. Perfect. Well, what do you think of this year's game?
Looks interesting. Hope to play it.
What do you think is probably the hardest thing, or do you think the entire game just seems pretty easy for you? I mean, you are the driver. You just like, I'm going to rock this.
Yeah. The last game pretty much rocked it.
Okay, no, perfect. Okay, talking about last game, how, do you like? What has been your favorite game that you've been a part of?
I've only been to one game, or like 2 different games like this game.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. So, week 0, it's basically preseason, like we were saying before, fixing the robot, everything else, making sure it's good to go every other week, and for the bigger tournaments and everything like that, bigger events. What is something that you're hoping to take from week 0 that you can, apply from here on out?
Just to get better, to know how to play.
Okay. Perfect. Well, with that being said, truly appreciate it. Thank you for your time. For everybody else, we'll be right back.
And we're back here on the YLE Robotics Show. And give us your name and your team name, please.
Josiah Danny Season and Aerobots.
So, how do you guys feel about going into week 0?
I think we feel pretty good. Our robot is getting there. We have some wiring to do left, but yeah, we're feeling pretty good.
So I see you guys are working on it back here. What are you guys working on exactly right now?
So we built the kitbot. We're working on fixing some stuff in the kitbot. There was a few issues, and then our other robot will be ready too.
Are you guys competing at Grand Forks or Duluth or both?
We're competing at Grand Forks and also St. Cloud.
Okay. So, what's your favorite part about competition?
I like seeing all the robots compete and seeing all the people come together and have a great time.
What's your favorite thing about robotics?
Probably competition.
So, what do you guys want to take away from week 0 here today?
We want to try to make our robot work and since the week 0 is at our school, we want to show our community about what robotics is and stuff like that.
Do you know how long you guys have been hosting this at your school here?
This is our first year hosting it.
All right. So how do you guys feel about all these other teams coming into your school?
I feel pretty excited because this is probably the biggest amount of people I've seen at a event in our school.
Yeah, it was. I could see when I came in here today. It was a lot of different teams here. I was amazed, and this is my first time coming here as well. So, what do you enjoy the most about competition?
I'm a driver, so I really enjoy driving the robot around and competing directly.
Are there any other teams you like to watch compete?
Probably chaotic.
All right. Well, thanks for taking the time with us here today, and we'll be back with more of the YLE Robotics Show right after this.
And welcome back to the Year Live event Robotics Show. It is the special Week 0 special, and here I'm going to let you guys introduce yourselves real quick.
Hey, I'm Lake Roland.
I'm Brody Lawrence. And Brock Ackerman.
And you guys are for what team, what school?
59.
13. Okay. It's Pequot Lakes Patriotics.
There we go. You see, we didn't even practice that, and it was just like boom, right off the rip. That's fantastic. Well, okay, so it is week 0. Just so I'm not saying it, you guys want to explain what week 0 is for you?
Yeah, so it's just kind of a way for all the teams to get an early start to make sure their robot is doing good, especially in like an event type of situation. So we all get here on an actual field and test out our robots and make sure they're doing what they're supposed to.
Okay, perfect. Now, everybody kind of has their own parts and parts of the team and everything like that. So what do you guys all work on? What is your roles?
So I'm helping the build team. I help build the robot in general. So from scratch to building it all up. And then if it breaks or anything, I'm just helping fixing it back up.
I'm also with the build team, and I also drive the robot. So just when we get out there, I drive the robot. I'm one of them, one of the two.
I'm the marketing manager, so anything to do with fundraising or personal or public relations, I'm kind of the guy to be in charge of that. So last year we raised about $10,000 just really going around our hometown of Pequot Lakes, and yeah.
Okay. Now, for folks that don't understand or don't know, I mean, to kind of equate this week 0 to anything else, it's kind of like preseason game for any other sport. So now, being part of the marketing team, your big role, I mean, that was over the summer, or what is the marketing team doing before week 0?
So before week 0, we have a lot of repeat donators. So for example, I believe Pequot Sand and Gravel, we get a donation from them every year. So it's a lot of reaching out, asking for those donations, and then as the season kind of progresses, we continue to kind of reach out a little bit further, and go from there.
Okay, no, perfect. Now, build team, driver. Let's start with the build. This year's the game's really interesting, really different from the last few years. When it comes to the build itself, how did all that kind of come to fruition? Oh, you guys are good.
So, took a lot of trial and error. We had to try new things. Some things didn't work. We had to scrap our prototypes and everything. But once we kind of got a good foundation of what we wanted to build this year, we just kept on trucking, kept finding things that were wrong, so we fixed them. But, as week 0 rolled around, we had a kind of a late night last night. So, but we're getting it all going.
Yeah. And it's a lot of time and work, because every day after school, we spend 2 to 4 hours just working on the robot nonstop, and even Saturdays, get there at 8:30 and leave at 4 to 5 o'clock. And like Brody was saying, we were there until 11 o'clock last night to make sure our robot would be good for today.
Now, if I'm not mistaken, the game and the build and everything else, that was announced first or second Saturday of January? When?
It was January 6th.
January 6th. So, okay, it's January 6th. It is February 15th today. So, build team, everything else. I mean, this comes together really quick.
It's nonstop since then. Right. So,
now, with that being said, what are some of the hurdles that you guys are kind of coming across or getting to before you even start really doing anything?
Having to think about a new game every year, it really you have to activate your mind, and you have to understand what you're doing before it, so you can build new things. It's a completely new area, so you have to know what you're doing beforehand, and we have a great coach, so he helps us out with that every single year. So
I would just say a lot of trial and error. Just try everything until it works.
Okay. Now, last few questions here. This year's game, what do you think of it? What are some of those hurdles that you have seen in practice thus far?
That's more of a driver question, to be totally honest.
So, we got to get really high this year. I don't know if you've seen out there. We've got the tallest, I guess it's called the coral station, or the where you score. It's really high. It's about 6 feet tall. We have to figure out. We haven't done many elevators, in my time at least, so we had to figure out how to make an elevator. It's kind of a difficult hurdle to come across, but we figured it out, and getting 6 feet up there is really, really tough. So, but we got it done.
Yeah, and we had the claw, because you have to pick up this small tube and a huge ball, and it took us about 3 or 4 times making that claw again and again until it worked perfectly. And then just today, our robot's bare minimum of just like trying to do like the best it can, because we had no time to code it at all. So we're just trying to just have it score at the top for only today. Yeah.
Okay. So, I mean, and that's the big thing with week 0. It seems like it really is like, okay, this is like more about seeing the robot. If it's running, fantastic. But for you guys, what is your goal for week 0? What do you want to leave week 0 with?
So generally at week 0 and really at any meets, on top of being, on top of marketing and fundraising, I also generally go around and get kind of a good idea of every team. For example, last year I made a giant slideshow for week 0. Every robot that was there, I documented what they're capable of, and it kind of helps in the future for some of the scouters. So trying to decide essentially which teams we want to have on our alliance, assuming that we score well enough, which we usually do. So that's the biggest thing for me. That's the biggest way I contribute at the actual meets.
This week 0, we're just trying to get score on the top. That was kind of really our only goal. And to be able to do that consistently will get us to do the smaller, like the lower ones, which are supposed to be a little easier. So we're just trying to get the hardest one out of the way. And if we get that consistent, then it's just, we go on from there.
Yeah. And if we could score on the top, our main task every year is to do everything we can. Those 3 big things, if it's scoring up top, putting a ball in something else, or climbing with the robot, we try hitting all 3 of those things so we're ready for our first event.
Okay. Well, guys, seriously, thank you so much for taking the time. You guys have been fantastic, and can't wait to see you guys out there on the field and see what your robot can do.
Thank you.
Perfect.
We'll be right back.
And welcome back to the YLE Robotics Show here. We're here at week 0 from Ashby, Minnesota, and give us your name and what team you're from.
My name is Layla. I am from Team 3278 Electric Lakers in Detroit Lakes.
All right, so not too far away then. So how are things going into week 0 for you guys?
We are currently trying to mount our elevator and our arm so we can reach the coral. As of right now, we're just about figuring out the code. It's been taking a while because we are learning how to do spin drive and swerve drive. It's not been amazing, but we're getting there, and we're very fortunate to have a lot of teams near us who are willing to help.
So you guys, how are things going into who are some of your favorite teams to compete against at state?
I think it's a weird thing for me because I was originally on a different team because I just changed schools this year, so it has been a great experience changing schools and getting to find a community. So possibly it could be fun to compete against an old team that I was on in a friendly way. I love seeing them here at competitions, and also some other teams that could be really fun. This is my first year competing officially. I did not go to competitions last year, so I'm excited to do it this year.
Are you guys going to be at the Grand Forks competition in March?
Yes, we will be.
Okay. So what are some of your what are some things, goals you guys are looking forward to as far as accomplishing at week 0 here this weekend?
We're hoping to maybe get the robot moving around a bit more, and also really just networking and meeting new teams and making those connections for future help and other things with competitions.
All right. It's the YLE Robotics Show here from week 0, Ashby, Minnesota, and thank you for talking with us today. It's the Detroit Lakers, and we'll be back with more of the YLE Robotics Show right after this.
Welcome back. We're here week 0 at Ashby, and I am here with, I'm going to let you introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Kat. I'm the pit boss on Team 3102, and I'm also kind of the captain of our build team.
Okay, so first pit boss. What does that mean? What does that entail?
So, got my crew behind me. When the robot breaks, we fix it. That's it's NASCAR, but robots.
No, perfect. Okay, so week 0, for folks that don't know, explain what week 0 is.
So, competition doesn't start for another week or two. So, we run a week 0 at various different places to kind of give teams an opportunity to test the robot and make sure it actually works, to see if they have to change anything. Sometimes in the past we've gone to week 0s and all we've been able to do is drive, and we still learn a lot from the experience.
Okay, so I'm always amazed when I just see the pit. The pit's fantastic, and just the robot itself. So what has been the biggest hurdle when it comes to this year's game and building this robot?
So robots this year, there is no upward height limit, so we're going to get tall. So we have one of the biggest drive bases that we've ever had to combat, the rattle and the tippiness from the height, because our robot is going to be 9 feet tall. So it's a lot.
Okay.
Yeah,
I see how it can
elevator,
extend.
yep.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So we, a couple of different vendors sell parts and stuff that you can. They're called COTS products, and you can just buy them and assemble them yourself, and you don't really have to put any thought behind them. We were going to do that, but the kits that they sold didn't do what we wanted them to do, so we got to buy 2 different kinds and kind of mesh them together. So that was probably the hardest part of our build season so far. That elevator took us about 2 weeks to fully assemble just because there was no guide, so we had to do it all brain power. My head hurts.
Okay, so
Yeah.
so there's this kit and everything else. Now, you said it didn't do what you wanted it to do. How did you, is that something as the pit crew, as the pit boss, everything like that? Are you the one making that decision, or is it completely team? How did you come to that decision that this is what you were looking to do?
Yeah, so the way we work is we've got a big old build team, and we all kind of try and collaborate on ideas so that it's not just one person. I can veto something if I think it's really not a great idea, but we have a lot of members on the team who can do that. It's not just me. Like Alex right here, he's our programmer and our driver. So if he thinks something is a terrible plan, then we're not going to do that terrible plan, because he's not going to like it driving it, and he's not going to like programming it. So yeah, we're a big old mesh. We're kind of like a family. We got Team Spirit Award at the NMRC competition. So yeah, we like to make sure everybody feels included.
Now, you brought up the Team Spirit Award and everything else. Look, I've been to a few of these. Your team is very loud, very proud, everything like that. So tell me a little bit more about that. Tell me a little bit more about the family aspect of the team.
Yeah. So we like to wear white because nobody else wears white. So we're very visible. And we all kind of stick together in a clump. So you can be like, oh, there's a blob of 3102 walking around. We really like to, we just like each other a lot. We spend a lot of time together. Yesterday we pulled a 12-hour shift getting ready for this because we wanted to make sure we were going to be able to run most of our stuff today. So just a big old family. We work together well. If you can't work together and come to conclusions democratically with your people, then you're not going to have a good build season. You're going to have a robot that doesn't work the way you want it to. We had that happen 2 years ago. That was rough. We built our robot 4 times. We built 4 robots that year. So yeah, I like to make sure that my pit crew works together well. I like to make sure that there aren't any huge overbearing conflicts on my team, because that kind of just puts a wrench in the whole machine. So yeah, we like to be friendly.
Look, everybody works a little bit better when it is a little bit more smooth sailing and everything like that. Not just the wearing white, everything else. I gotta say, I do love the Zoots. The Zoot pants are fantastic.
Yeah.
Those are always a crowd pleaser, at least for me.
Yeah, they're super comfy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Now, it is week 0. It is, for folks that don't know, it's kind of like the preseason and everything like that. What is the main goal? What are you guys looking to leave here with when it comes to week 0?
So we have not powered our elevator yet this year. We were just fully wired about 20 minutes ago is when we finished. So what a lot of teams want to do here is they want to come and they want to test out their mechanisms, and then they go home and they fix stuff before their week 1, 2, or 3 competitions, because there are 6 weeks of competition. So we've still got a while. Our next competition after this, we host a week 0.5, which is we set up the field again and invite a few teams, and then we have a week 3. So we've got a while. So we're going to try get as much stuff figured out here as we can, go home and fix it, and then go to week 3 and hopefully win the competition, but we'll see how it goes.
Now, you've mentioned this before, and I've heard actually a lot of other folks mention this elevator. When you say elevator, what do you mean? What, like on the robot itself?
Yeah, so the elevator itself is that kind of mast thing that we've got going, the 3 rows of steel piping. And then we've got a baby carriage on the inside that slides up and down with that hook thing on it, and that'll come out and pick stuff up off the floor, and then that'll go up and put our coral up. So starting configuration, when your robot starts the game, you cannot be any taller than 42 inches. And then for the game, one of the scoring points is 6 feet up off the ground. So there's a little bit of height disparity there. So you have to figure out a way to go from here, up here, but be able to stay down here and be in a compact little square when your robot gets put out on the field. So you're going to be seeing a lot of these elevators. I think, just looking around here, I think every single robot here has an elevator on it. So it's an elevator game this year.
Right.
Yep.
Yep. And last question, what is your thoughts on the game itself this year?
Game this year is hard. The end game is hard. There are so many different, we like to call them like red herrings or like wild goose chases. There are so many different things you can do this year that it's just hard to figure out what you want to do. Because even with one of the game pieces, there's like 5 different places you can put it. And then there's a net you can dunk these balls in, and you can put them down in a thing on the ground. So it's just, you want to not go for the wrong thing and just end up not scoring as many points as you would like. So it's kind of a strategy game. So it's not just, it's building off of previous year's knowledge, because last year we went for something and it just ended up being a complete awful. So yeah, we're trying to avoid that this year, and I think we did a pretty good job, but you don't want to try to do too many things, because then your robot is going to try to do too many things and it's going to break. It's like having too many buttons on your car. So yeah.
Well, seriously, thanks for taking the time. I'm going to let you get back to the pit, let you do everything you need to do. For everyone else, we'll be right back.
And we're back here on the Your Live Event Robotics Show here. Please tell us your name and team.
I'm Tate Dale, team 2654.
So what are you guys working on back here?
We're on the testing field, and our lifter arm, the rope snapped because of the cage. It catched our chain on our elevator, so it made that rope have some extra tension in it, and it just broke.
How long have you guys been working on this this week so far?
Like throughout the whole season wise?
Yeah.
Probably too many hours to count. Every night, except for Wednesdays, Sundays.
How do you guys feel going into week 0?
I'm feeling good. We put a lot of time and effort into this, and I think everything works good so far, so hopefully it works good in competition. Don't have a good auto set up yet, waiting for week 1 or 2 to do that.
So is there any like big hurdles you guys have had to go through so far this season?
Well, at the beginning of the season, trying to get our swerve code converted from last year, and then we decided not to go that route and went with Yagsil, and that was kind of confusing at the start, and then it became very easy to learn programming wise.
So is there anything going forward into like the competitions now? What do you guys look forward to the most?
Shooting algae. Like I haven't seen very many teams that have been able to shoot an algae very, very accurately into the barge. We created a calculus. Well, I did. Sam did. He created a calculus equation on how to shoot the algae into the barge accurately.
So they said you're the driver of the team. So what does that entail exactly?
So I drive the robot. I I program the robot. So we have 2 drivers on our team. We have one for the button box and we have one with a Xbox controller. I drive the Xbox controller and my second driver will be driving the button box.
You say Xbox controller. Was that intended?
Yep, I drive with an Xbox.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you for talking with us today. It's the YLE Robotics Show. We'll be back with more right after this.
Welcome back to week 0 at Ashby, and I am here. I'm going to let you guys introduce yourselves real quick.
My name is Michael Mick.
Sophia Dable from 3294.
3294. Same team, 3294?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Well, first and foremost, week 0, what are you guys looking to accomplish with week 0?
Hopefully get stuff running and actually working, because not a lot of people here actually got most of their stuff working. We have most of it done. It's just like the small little things that we need to get programmed.
Yeah, a lot of our team members weren't here due to different reasons, so as long as we can like really crack down and get stuff done, I think we'll be fine.
Okay, perfect. Now, so in the pit, everything else, actually, first and foremost, what is your guys' roles on the team?
We just kind of wing it, you know?
Yeah, we kind of just wing it. We have everyone trying different things since there's a lot of new people. So we have some people doing wiring and stuff like that. So
Okay. So a little bit of putting many hats on for you guys. Okay, perfect. As of right now, I mean, what is it? We're only like a month into this season and this build. What has been your favorite part of, or what has been the favorite thing you've been working on?
What do you think?
It's socializing with teammates, conjuring up different ideas, how we can make stuff better together, you know, stuff like that.
Okay. All right, perfect. Now, talking with ideas, everything else, how do you guys land on like this? On the, I don't want to call this the final product because we got a lot of season left, everything else like that. But how did we land on this design, this functionality with the robot?
We actually based it off of the U of M robot that they did. So if you go on their YouTube, it has their name, the robot's name is Poseidon, and it's kind of the same thing. It's just we had to kind of change it to be our kind of robot. So we based it off of that.
Okay. No, perfect. Now, you guys kind of already went through and said, hey, we just want to make sure that your robot is functioning and everything else. Now, it seems like you got a lot of folks just kind of on the robot right now. What is happening with the robot right this second?
Right now we're trying to fix the one wire so when we tried to do the spinning thing on the one thing, the wire would not work unless we push it in and hold it. So we went to another team looking for a wire that we could use. So we're right now putting that wire on and fixing a few other stuff.
Okay, fantastic. Now, actually, could you go a little bit more into, because again, for folks that this might be the first experience with the Robotics League and everything else, hearing another team coming over and helping you out with that, explain a little bit more of like the community inside of like each team and everything else.
A lot of the robotics people are very nice about helping each other out because it's a friendly competition and they wouldn't want someone's robot that isn't working on the team on the field.
Perfect. Now, last few questions. What made you want to do robotics?
One of my friends was in it, and he kind of offered to help me join, and because I was kind of into robotics and Legos and stuff like that, so he thought it'd be a good fit for me. I joined, tested it out, I liked it, so I signed up.
I'm big into engineering and technical stuff, so this was kind of my place. I started with the Lego League and then came here for high school robotics.
Awesome. Now, you kind of touched a little bit on it earlier on, but leaving week 0, what is probably the number one thing you're hoping to take away from week 0?
Probably finishing the robot, getting the program all done and ready to go for the big competition in Duluth.
I don't really have much to take away. Just hope to get better, I guess.
Perfect. Now, you mentioned the big competitions. Do you know the big competitions you're going to be at this year, or?
Yeah, we're going, I think, Lake Superior Regional in Duluth. So we'll be doing that. So that'll be fun.
Well, thank you guys so much for taking the time. Truly appreciate it. We'll be right back.
And we're back here. It's week 0 here on the YLE Robotics Show here from Ashby, Minnesota. Give us your guys' names and team name, please.
Kaylin, 3134 Accelerators. I'm Fatima, I'm 3134 Accelerators.
Do you guys have specific roles on the team?
I'm head driver and builder for our robot. I'm the human player. I'm just doing other things.
So how do you guys feel about going into week 0?
Our robot is kind of working. I broke it first match, but I didn't really know the buttons because I hadn't been able to practice that. But I'm feeling more confident this second round. I've been trying to learn the buttons better.
So that must take a lot of expertise to know how to drive this thing, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of different buttons you got to memorize and make sure you're not pressing the wrong button or else you break the robot like I did. And you got to just keep practicing and pushing the buttons so you get that muscle memory of doing it.
What is the hardest task about this this competition?
Probably trying to line up to make sure that you're actually going to shoot onto the pole. It's sometimes hard to see that in certain orientations.
And what is your favorite part about the competition?
I like that there's a lot of different things you can do. You can score an algae or a coral, or you can go to the barge. There's lots of different elements, so each team can kind of do their own thing.
Are you guys competing in Duluth or Grand Forks or both?
We're going to Grand Forks in Iowa.
What's your how do you guys feel about going into competition?
I'm feeling pretty good. Our robot's pretty solid. We just have to work out a few more programming stuff and kind of reinforce it a little more. But otherwise, I'd say it's pretty good.
So, what's your favorite thing about robotics?
Being able to drive the robot, yeah.
All right. It's the YLE Robotics Show, week 0 here in Ashby, Minnesota. We'll be back with more right after this.
Welcome back to week 0 here at Ashby. I am here with
Tobias,
Johnny,
Taylor,
and you guys are for
Iron Rangers.
Iron Rangers. Okay, perfect. What's the school?
Cresby Ironton.
Cresby. Okay, fantastic. I'm trying to think. Was that a bit of a drive for you guys to come down this way?
2 hours.
Okay, so a bit of a drive.
Yeah, we had to wait. We left at by 6.
Yeah. 5, 6 in the morning on a Saturday. Hey, you know what? But might as well do some robotic stuff while you're up that early, huh? Now, let's actually talk about the robot. How is your robot doing this week?
It's been pretty good. We've been gaining a lot of experience from previous years, and it's been nice to kind of put it together. We've had a couple of hiccups and things on the way. This isn't our final robot, we'll say that. We're definitely going to be putting together more for Duluth. And we like it this year. I think John knows a little bit more about it. He catted it.
Yeah, we spent a lot of time on the design this year, and so far it's played out well. We haven't ran into anything that's, game stopping.
I know we feel pretty confident this year over the past couple of years. By week 0, most of the years we haven't been ready and we ran into a lot of struggles, but this year we feel pretty confident, and I think we're gonna have a really good season.
Perfect. Now, you brought up this definitely isn't the last robot. This is not the final product. So how did you get to the product that you brought to week 0?
I guess
yeah, we always take a lot of inspiration from the RI3D teams. This year we mashed together a couple of designs and added our own tweaks to it, and here it sits.
Yeah.
We gonna add a couple things to help with some auto alignments, cameras, and do a lot more programming and testing. But Overall, we're pretty mechanically sound right now, which is, sometimes a struggle.
See, some of the other teams here have the Thrifty Bot elevator. That kind of came in, kind of a lifesaver. But putting together the mechanisms and stuff, that was all him. He just built all of those. He came up with them. Was inspired by some of the R3D, like they said. Is this the first time we've had all climbing and 2 mechanisms at the same time at 0 week?
Yeah. This is the first time we've had a full together robot at week 0.
Yeah, we can play the full game now. So
yeah, that's a good point. This is the first time we've had it all together, if not not quite properly tuned yet, but it's all here.
It's the first time we've had a well-functional robot at week 0.
So perfect. We'll come back to that in a minute. But real quick before we get to that, what is everybody's jobs on the team, or is everybody pretty much hey, we do a little bit of everything?
Well, I do a lot of the marketing. I make the sweatshirts, bracelets, and then I also help where needed with the drive team. I help do the bumpers. I help build the elevator and drill holes and do all of that, whatever is needed.
I do the majority of the design on the robot, spend a lot of time on the computer making it all work in CAD, and then a lot of the actual building too. So, putting parts together once we get them.
Yeah, I kind of help build too, maybe a bit of problem solving at times. I do kind of odd jobs. I'm mostly there to hang out. It's always fun to be around the robot, around the team. Just get something put together that works nice.
Perfect. So actually, we're going to come back in with marketing and things like that. You mentioned bracelets, you mentioned sweatshirts. Anything else the marketing team does?
Well, so me and he's not here today, but we do the banner. My partner, he also does financing, so all of our funding and all of that. But we do sponsor letters, buttons. I also take pictures, just mainly social and the sweatshirts and all of that, and just design for the banner, the logo, all of that.
We on the flag this year?
Yeah.
Yeah, we kind of put together a kind of special flag. We had our other one printed out, but since it was aquatic theme this year, yeah, but extra thing on that. It's from Sea of Thieves, right?
Yeah.
Sea of Thieves.
Perfect. Oh, okay.
Just a little fun thing to have.
Right. Now, you guys said hey, this is kind of the first time you've had a functional robot at week 0. Compared to past years, is it really just it's that much of a difference? What do you think is actually gotten to a point where you guys are oh no, we have a functioning robot, it's not going to be like past years?
Well, I know last year we didn't have really, our robot drove, but we didn't have the climbing, we didn't have the climber even set up. It was just kind of, we drove and we just kept running into so many problems, where it's this year we spent so many late nights making sure it's up and ready this year, so that, and we are doing it right, perfect, instead of having to redo it, so we don't run into problems.
Didn't we CAD a lot further this year? We didn't even have the climbers on CAD in anything last year. So we figured out that everything we've CAD'd up to a certain point goes just fine. It goes perfectly. And then we always we're going to save time. We're going to not do it in CAD. We're going to figure it out, just in the shop by hand. And that's where things start to go wrong. So this year, John spent a lot of time just CADing the whole thing out completely, and that has been a huge material saver, time saver, sanity saver. It's been really nice to have that school tool in our back pocket.
So actually, real quick, we're bringing up CAD. Could you explain more what CAD is?
Yeah, I'm not sure what the acronym is, but it's the
computer assisted design. Is that what it is?
Something like that. It's the 3D design where you create all these different parts and then kind of put them all together in an assembly. And we've spent a lot of time doing that and refining all the little parts we have to make, which saves all sorts of time, down the road. It's a bit of an initial investment with it, but so far it's really paid off.
Perfect. Well, last question. Leaving week 0, what are you guys hoping to leave here with? What type of knowledge? What are you looking to get out of your robot week 0? What is the thing you want to leave with?
Definitely ironing out any kinks we've got in mechanisms, figuring out if we gotta tweak some stuff, which I guarantee you we will. That's just how it goes. Kind of getting some values for a program that we're gonna try and apply later once we're back home. So getting some heights kind of measured out. So
getting adapted to the real, live field, just all the materials, all the April tags, just perfect dimensions, everything like that. It's going to be very helpful today.
Yeah, basically just getting a feel of it, how our robot works now, and then what we can make better or fix to make the robot work better, and stuff we need to add or modifications we need to make.
Perfect. Well, thank you guys so much for your time, and for everybody else, we'll be right back.
At Enbridge, we're focused on relationships. 23 Canadian First Nation and Métis communities now own an equity stake in Enbridge Athabasca Pipelines. In Minnesota, Enbridge has spent $450 million and counting with Native-owned companies and in wages to tribal members working on Line 3. Every day brings new collaborations, partnerships, and possibilities. Learn more at Enbridge.com.
I'm PJ Rund, and I live in Mission Court in Ada, Minnesota. Here, there are a lot of people like it here. Well, what could be better?
I'm Molly, and I have lived here a little over 3 years now. I like the fact that I don't have stairs or elevators, and there's always some activities around here.
You can't help but like it here. That's what I say.
Gordon Construction of Mahnomen is a Native American-owned business proudly operating on the White Earth Indian Reservation since 1983. As a bonded general contractor, Gordon Construction provides years of experience in large, detailed, and within-budget projects. Gordon Construction is committed to the safety of its employees and the environment of its work sites. To learn more about Gordon Construction of Mahnomen, visit gcmahnomen.com or call 218-935-2191.
And welcome back to the YLE Robotics Show. Here it's week 0 from Ashby, Minnesota. Give us your team name and your names.
Dawson Boyd Robotics. Our team number is 6146.
My name is Cannon. I am the lead programmer and wire for the robot.
So tell us a little bit more about what you guys do on the team.
I am the build team lead. I help build the robot. I'm also the co-driver.
And I'm the programmer, the wire, and the lead driver.
So try to elaborate a little bit more on that. What does that entail exactly?
So I'm currently the only student that programs the robot, so it's all the programming of it. And I'm the one that does all the wiring after, besides building the frame, so I'm all the connecting the Robo-Rio and all the PDPs.
How do you guys feel about going into week 0?
Pretty good. We've had minor hiccups, but we are getting close to figuring them out.
So How do you guys feel about going into? Are you guys going to be in Duluth and Grand Forks, or both, or just
Grand Forks?
Just Grand Forks. What's your favorite thing about competition?
Just getting out of school mainly. And just exploring a little bit. Like, I don't get to leave Dawson that much, so just getting away from home a bit.
So, you guys talked about you got. Are there any big hurdles you guys have had to jump through this season so far with your robot, particularly?
Not really. My glasses are fogging up, but we really haven't. I'd say our biggest hurdle was trying to figure out how we're gonna raise our coral trough, but that was kind of a small hurdle, even though this is our biggest one.
How many hours a week do you guys put into this robot?
If we do Saturdays, which could be up to 4 to 6 hours, we'd put 10 hours in a week.
What is your favorite thing about being part of this team?
I like working with my hands. I like just building stuff, and robotics just gives me something to build.
I love the fact that we can build the robot and see how that evolves, and actually when we get to competition, it's fun to interact with all the teams.
All right. Well, thank you, gentlemen, for talking with us today. It's the YLE Robotics Show here. We'll be back with more right after this.
Welcome back to week 0 here at Ashby. I am here with
Stewie,
Carlia.
And you guys are for? Team.
Oh, Bogbots or 6453.
All right, awesome. Now, while we were coming over here, so this is your guys' first year, so both of you are new to this. So let me ask you this real quick: what made you want to join robotics?
I joined because I thought it was interesting and that I sort of knew how to do things with building stuff, so that's why I joined.
I've been interested ever since I was a little kid, so I finally became old enough to join, so I joined, and I'm really enjoying it so far.
Yeah, perfect. Now, okay, so what is your part on the team, or are you guys doing a little bit of everything?
I'm gonna code this year.
I'm just doing a little bit of everything. I put together pretty much half of the robot with Wyatt and the others.
Okay, perfect. Now, putting the robot together, being a part of that build team, everything like that, what drew you to that part? Because it seems like you're a little bit of a all-around type of guy.
I don't really know.
Okay. So why coding?
Because my dad's a coder, and I've been interested. He's taught me a little bit, and I've been interested in it so far. So I just want to learn how to code and get better and do stuff like that.
Perfect. So, this is I always say, I didn't know about this when I was a kid, right? So how did you guys learn about, how were you introduced to robotics?
I was introduced to robotics by my 5th grade teacher, Mr. Lundin. He was telling me and a couple other my friends to join.
Okay.
I was introduced to robotics by my 2nd grade teacher, Miss Walkler, because she's the head coach.
Oh, okay. So she's a mentor, head coach. Okay, fantastic. Now, it's week 0. It's your first week 0. What are you looking forward to the most?
Probably just getting onto the field and seeing how everything works and stuff like that.
Yeah, I'd probably have to agree with her and see how everything works on the field.
Okay, perfect. Now, talking about the field, the game, and everything else, what do you guys think about the game? What do you guys think about the field? As you guys haven't been on it yet, but what do you guys think of it thus far?
From what I've seen so far, it looks like a really interesting course, and it'll be really fun to learn how to play it and stuff.
Yeah, it does seem really interesting to play on the course and use the robots with the coral and the algae.
Okay, no, perfect. Now, it's week 0 for the folks who don't know what that is. It's basically the preseason for you guys. This is the practice run, but it's a little bit more than just a practice. Now, what do you guys leaving today, what is the one thing that you guys are looking like, hey, this is what we want to take away from week 0?
Probably deciding on who everybody has to do.
Okay.
Definitely making alliances with other teams. If we see them at regionals, then we'll have some alliances and stuff like that.
Okay, perfect. Now, you're bringing up other competitions. What other competitions are you guys going to be at this year?
We're going to go to Grand Forks regionals in March.
Okay, fantastic. Now, so this is kind of it's your first build season. It's your first week 0. What is your guys' first thoughts coming into week 0, this being your first event? Let's call it an event. It is an event. So what is your guys' first thoughts of it?
When I came, I was a little bit nervous, but now that we're all here, it's all been easing out for me.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with him. I was pretty nervous before we came, but as soon as we got set up and everything and started talking to other teams, we realized it wasn't that bad.
Okay, no, perfect. Last question, possibly the most important. You guys having fun yet?
Yes, I really am having fun.
I'm having a lot of fun, yes, definitely.
Thank you guys so much. Truly appreciate it. For everybody else, we'll be right back.
And we're back here on the YLE Robotics Show. And give us your team name and your name, please.
Our team name is Robotics, and my name is Connor Anderson.
What is your role in the team?
My role is one of our builders. I did all of our wiring pretty much, and I also have designed a lot of the robot and helped build a bunch of it.
What are you guys working on back here?
Currently, we're trying to get our climber all working. We had a bench shaft originally. We got some straight steel ones just yesterday. Got them cut, but we had to get it actually in there.
How many hours a week do you guys spend working on this robot?
Let's see. The really committed ones who are there pretty much every day doing a bunch of hours, it's near 20 hours a week, 24.
How are things looking going into week 0 for you guys?
Things are looking really good. We got ours working. We tested it yesterday. All our manipulators working really well. We have our climber working. Just got to get it dialed in.
What is your favorite thing about week 0?
Favorite thing about week 0 is just practicing it, seeing all the robots that are coming on and all the ideas.
Are there any teams that are your favorites to watch or like to compete against?
Let's see. I do like 3102, and then I also like, what's the name? I'm really bad at names, sorry about that, but there's a few other names, and a few other teams that are really fun to watch.
Are you guys going to be competing in Duluth or Grand Forks or both?
We are going to be competing in Duluth, and I forget, we have 2 competitions. I forget if it's Grand Forks or another one, but definitely Duluth.
What's your favorite thing about the competition?
Same thing, seeing a bunch of all the robots all the time, playing our matches, seeing how we end.
Have you guys had to jump through any big hurdles this season so far?
Let's see. We have had to jump through a few, trying to figure out how we're going to climb, and then figuring out how we can make our robot our own and not copy someone off is our big thing from this year.
All right. Well, thank you for taking the time to talk with us here today. We'll be back with more of the YLE Robotics Show right after this.
Looking for a bank that truly cares about your financial well-being? That would be the First National Bank of McIntosh. Their experienced staff is dedicated to providing exceptional customer service and helping you find the right financial solutions for your needs. From personal to business banking services, they have everything you need to take control of your money. Plus, their commitment to the local community means that your money stays where it matters, right here in McIntosh. Trust First National Bank of McIntosh, Equal Housing Lender, member FDIC.
In today's competitive market, your company needs a manufacturing partner that can deliver high-quality products, on-time delivery, and unmatched expertise. Team Industries of Bagley has been a leading provider of precision machining and manufacturing services for over 50 years. Whether you need custom-made parts, precision engineering, or complete assembly services, Team Industries of Bagley can help you take your manufacturing to the next level. Visit their website today to learn more about their capabilities or give them a call to schedule a consultation. At Winnie Mac School, we're shaping the leaders of tomorrow with dedicated teachers, a strong sense of community, and opportunities to excel in academics, arts, and athletics. We strive to give every student a chance to succeed. From kindergarten through high school, we offer a supportive environment where students can grow, learn, and discover their full potential. Together, we're building a brighter future. Join the Winnie Mac family, where education and community go hand in hand at the Winnie Mac School.
All right, welcome back to week 0, Ashby, and I am here with
Riley.
What team are you for, Wyatt?
4480, UC Robotics.
UC Robotics, okay, fantastic. You guys always have some of the coolest shirts, not gonna lie. Always love the stick figures, always love the playing with the robots.
Yeah, it's like hand drawn from, her name's Holly. So she's graduating this year though. No, next year, sorry Holly. But, so we're gonna be sad when she leaves. But we got our new shirt design coming in before the Grand Forks one, so, regional, so.
Fantastic. Now, okay, so it is week 0. You know, it's the robot. You guys, we've been walking around and everything else. I mean, you guys are hard at work on the robot. So, what are you guys working on the robot with? What are you tooling with?
So currently, we're having a little help with from Swanville with the coding. Yesterday we had a problem with our intake for the coral because the code was a little wrong, so it kind of broke. We fixed that luckily. We got our radios firmware updated, so we got that in, and right now we're working so the algae intake works and doesn't hit any of our robot components.
Okay. So, real quick, now, is it for you guys, because I'm a guy who is the most technical at, like, I can make toast, and even that I burn toast, right? Yeah. So when you're like, hey, the code is the issue here, how quickly are you able to see what's going wrong and say that's the problem, or is there this giant checklist that you do have to go down? What is troubleshooting looking like for you guys?
I don't really code, but I think what we use, it tells us what's wrong, and then we try and fix it to the best of our knowledge. And if we have like any other teams near us, we always try and get them to help us if we can't really figure it out ourselves.
No. How long have you been in robotics? How many years?
So I'm in 7th grade right now, so this is my first year.
Okay.
So I did start like when UPSLA started. I mean, not UPSLA started, but like when schools did start. So last year I was in the Bemidji one. So, but yeah.
Okay, perfect. So what made you want to join robotics then?
Well, I moved into UPSLA a couple of years ago, 2nd grade, and my mom told me about robotics, and I've always wanted to join since, but it's when she told me it was like 7th grade and up, I was a little upset.
But okay, so this is your first official year with robotics. So what are you hoping? I mean, do you already have a job that you're already assigned to? Is that the job you want to be assigned to, or how do you pick that job?
So currently I'm working on the actual computer parts, which I really like to do. Currently I'm working on the Lumen Labs lights, which is given me a lot of trouble because right now I'm having trouble connecting to one of the boards, and then the lights wasn't working, so
okay. So you're dealing with all the electronic, the computer on the thing, and you're putting it on the robot and make sure it all works, right?
Yeah, technically yes.
Okay.
And then I also do the drive team, some of the social media, and then kind of like the technician.
Okay, so a little bit of everything. A little bit of everything, but it seems like you're really into the computer and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Now, fantastic. So this is your first week 0. How are you enjoying your first week 0?
Kind of what I expected. Just the field's pretty cool. So, and honestly, I thought there was going to be more teams, and it was going to be bigger.
Okay. Talking about the field, talking about the game. What do you think of this year's game?
Personally, I kind of preferred Crescendo, probably because that was the first year I started. But the Reefscape field is really cool too. Colorful. The reef is cool. A lot more human player parts. So.
Actually, could you go a little bit more into the human player parts? What part does the human play in this year's game?
So there's 2 things that the human player can do. First is with the algae, which is the blue, like, really big dodgeballs. So what they do is they receive the algae from the side, they can pick it up, and then they throw it into what's called the barge, which they can score points if they make it into that. It's like an overhanging net. And then, or they can also just place it onto like these 3 podiums. But either they put it on they have to put it on the podiums, or they have to throw the algae. They can't just store like 5. And then the coral intake, the human player stands at it. They pick up a coral, which is just a white PVC pipe, and then they put it through like this chute, and it's pretty cool. So it's about 4 of those.
Perfect. Okay, so what are you hoping? What is the team hoping to take away from week 0?
Can't really think about that. I don't know. Like, what do you mean by take away from it?
So, like when you
get accomplished?
Yeah, like what can it accomplish? What are you hoping? Like, what is the goal for week 0 for you guys?
We are just hoping to get like the coding done, like the main stuff of the robot. So the algae stuff, the coral stuff, the movement, all that type of stuff. The add-ons can be added on later before the regional, yeah.
Perfect. Well, because this is your first week 0 and everything else, the most important question, are you having fun?
Of course I am. It's robotics.
That is a perfect answer. Thank you so much for joining us, and for everybody else, we'll be right back.
And we are back here on the YLE Robotics Show here. It's week 0, Ashby, Minnesota. Give us your name and your team name, please.
Lily, 8422.
All right. How do you guys feel about going into week 0?
We feel really good. We have all of our systems put in place except for the climber. We'll work on that. We go to Duluth in about a week and a half. We feel good.
You guys excited about competition?
We're very excited. It's also our first year with Swerve, so that's huge for us.
So, how many hours a week do you guys spend working on your robot?
A lot. Coming from a small school especially, it takes a lot of manpower. Probably 5, 10, upwards of 15 to 20 hours.
Are there any teams you guys like to watch or like to compete against at competition?
Just the usual teammates, everyone from week 0 we know well. We like talking to everyone.
What's your favorite thing about robotics?
My favorite thing is that it feels like a sport, but it's a lot more hands-on and engaging than it is.
So, all you guys have a specific role on your team. What is your role specifically?
We kind of share roles just because we are from a small school, but I'm the programmer, especially. But I do help out with mechanical and everything.
What is the programmer? What does that entail? What do you do on a normal basis?
So it includes Java, setting up all of our subsystems. Communicating with the mechanical team is huge to know which way motors need to move, what buttons need to do, operator as well. Yeah.
What do you guys hope to take away from week 0 here today?
We hope to take away any improvements we need to make, especially drive-wise, because we've never driven Swerve on an actual field. We hope to get a good idea of what to do for our climber as well.
All right. Well, thank you for talking with us today. Thanks for taking the time, and we'll be back with more of the YLE Robotics Show right after this.
Welcome back to the Year Live Event Robotics Show here, week 0, Ashby, and we are with
Caleb Belfine, Logan Mako.
What team you guys for?
7677 Bodacious Bulldogs.
All right, fantastic. Now, real quick, actually, what is each of yours job this year?
I'm on build team.
I'm drive team mainly, but I help with some of the building.
Okay, perfect. So build team, drive team with a little bit of building in it. Now, with that being said, it is week 0. Build team has probably been running around with their hair on fire. So how has the lead up to week 0 been?
Hectic. Just trying to get everything together, pretty much.
Well, I don't really know. I haven't really helped with a lot of the building.
No, that's fine. Okay, so this year's game, it seems like there's a lot of hype to it. So how has that been in the build team side? How are you guys jumping over that hurdle?
We have an elevator, so that's pretty much how we're doing that.
Perfect. So, the elevator, could you go a little bit more into that? Like, what does that mean, an elevator?
We have our shooter, and I don't know how to explain this. It's mounted to our elevator, so our elevator will go up, and then our shooter can move up and down on our elevator, so it can, like, now explain that a little better.
We have like 3 segments to our elevator. We have the outer one that doesn't move, the inner one that can go up and down, and the middle segment's like inside of the second one, and it can go up and down inside of it. And it's all controlled with chains.
And pulleys.
Now, being drive team, with that thing being as high and as tall as it can, actually, how tall can the elevator go to?
I think 6'3" is how tall it gets, if I remember correctly.
Okay, so the thing can get up to 6'3". So with, like, how is the difference when it comes to driving around when it is all the way compacted down to whatever the base height is?
Well, we have our elevator isn't finished yet, so we haven't really been able to drive with that yet. So,
do you see any possible, problems with driving something that tall?
Well, I would imagine it would be very top heavy and like wobble around a lot.
Okay. Now, the game itself, like we said before, there's a lot of height to it and everything like that. But how do you guys like the game this year?
I think it's pretty interesting. A little difficult with trying to get the height aspect of the game. Besides that, I think it's a pretty good game this year.
All of the pieces alone are cool, but I think putting them together just like gives you like added difficulty, like a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. It seems, just looking at the field itself, I mean, it looks pretty darn crazy out there. Now, with that being said, I mean, I know it is the week 0 of this new game, but what has been your favorite game thus far in robotics that you guys have done stuff with?
Probably Crescendo.
Yeah, probably Crescendo.
No, that was last year's game. That was a lot of fun. That was really cool to see everybody run around and everything like that. Now, with that being said, week 0, it is, for folks that don't know, it basically is the preseason. It's the practice. It's everything else. So coming in, what is your goal with week 0?
I think we're trying to at least score some points to see if our shooter actually works, because we haven't really tested it that much on the robot, but yeah.
Just make sure that everything that we have built works, and if it doesn't, fix it, and if it does, make it better, hopefully.
Perfect. Now, with that being said, that's the hope. Now that you're here, you're tooling around with it, everything else, have you ran into anything that's a big hurdle or anything else? I already see a smile out of you, so I'm guessing there has been a few things that are like, ooh, we got some hurdles. So you mind talking about those?
Not too big, but on our robot we had side panels of plexi, but we made them to the base so they covered our how we connect our bumpers. So, and who made them didn't notice that until I saw when we got them. Like, how do we put this on? It's blocking, so we had to take those off.
I haven't really noticed like any really big hurdles that were like completely game changing. There was just like a few small ones here and there.
Perfect. Last few questions. How'd you guys get into robotics? When was your first year? Everything like that.
So I got into robotics because all 3 of my older brothers were in it, and I've been in it for 2 years.
Well, I wasn't really in any sports, so I just decided to try it, and I thought it was pretty cool.
Awesome. Yeah, I think it's pretty cool too. I didn't know this thing was around when I was a kid, so Yeah, no, I always say I'm always jealous of you guys doing all this cool stuff. But with that being said, any last thoughts? Anything else you want to say before we leave?
No.
Alrighty, perfect. Well, thank you guys so much for taking the time and talking with us. Truly appreciate it. For everybody else, we'll be right back.
And welcome back to the YLE Robotics Show here from Ashby, Minnesota. It's week 0, and give us your name and your team.
My name is William Mahaffey with Team 4181.
What are you guys working on over here?
Well, we just had something break on a robot, so we had to fix that. And then we're hoping to just test out our robot, see how it functions today.
How many hours a week do you guys spend working on this?
Well, we work on it every day after school from about 4 till 8:30. So we put a lot of hours in. I don't know the exact number, but it's a lot.
What is your favorite thing about week 0?
I just like being able to go out and use the field. You know, we've built a couple prototype field elements, but it's never the same as actually being there and running it.
So are you guys competing in the Duluth competition or the Grand Forks competition?
We're doing both.
Both? What's your favorite thing about the competition?
My favorite part about Duluth is that it's like a tunnel into a big field. It's a really cool atmosphere there. And then Grand Forks, I like how close the pits are to the field.
So it looks like each of you guys have a specific role on your team here. What is your role exactly on the team?
So I do a lot of the wiring on the robot, and then I also drive it at competitions.
Do you guys have a specific, I should say, like a remote that you guys use to drive we're talking to a team over there, and they said they had an Xbox controller. Do you guys use the same thing?
Yeah, we use Xbox controllers.
Okay. All right. Have you guys had any big hurdles? Have you had to come across or jump through this so far this season?
Funding is really hard for us because our school, we're a really small school, so we have to go around to businesses asking for sponsorships and stuff, and even for hotels and stuff, they're expensive. So funding is our main thing, I would say.
What is your favorite thing about being part of this team?
I don't know. It's just I love working on robots. I'm really mechanically minded. I like all that sort of stuff. I've always kind of been good at this sort of thing, and it's a really fun way to apply the stuff you've learned in school and stuff.
All right. Well, we appreciate the time today, and we'll be back with more of the YLE Robotics Show right after this.
Welcome back to the Year Live Event Robotics Show. We are here at week 0 at Ashby, and I am here with
Madison Boyer, Bean.
And what team are you guys from?
We are from Team 4539.
Okay, perfect. So you guys actually just came off of playing the game. First and foremost, what do you think of the game this year?
I think it's going to be really exciting to see what robots are capable of doing after they have everything figured out, because this is a fun game.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's going to be very interesting to see how robots are built and what they can do.
Absolutely. Now, so I noticed, your bot was very active. It's functioning. It's moving around and everything else like that. So how'd you get to this point? Because typically week 0, I've heard a lot of teams saying, hey, we're lucky if that thing is moving.
We're very fortunate to have a programmer on our team. Shout out to Aiden. He spent over 200 hours coding our robot to be able to do what it does. So
200 hours.
200 hours.
Okay.
He has the exact number, but over 200.
It's a lot, yeah. We have a big group of mentors who come in every day after school. We help out. We just kind of piece it together piece by piece. We have a lot of alumni who come in and they help out too, so it's really great.
No, perfect. Now, let's actually talk about the alumni coming in. I mean, how, you said it was great, but how invaluable is that, like, knowledge of them coming in and being like, hey, like, this is how we used to do it, or this might be a way for you guys to go about stuff?
It's really nice, especially since we don't have any seniors on our team this year.
Oh.
So having the seniors that graduated last year come back and just kind of walk us through different processes, especially with elevators this year. No one on our team has built an elevator in like 8 years. So it's a stepping stone for kind of everyone on our team.
It's super useful because they like just left last year, so they know like a lot of things. They've been on the team for 6+ years, so they come back, they help us build with whatever help we need, and they're just there to be useful every time.
Okay. So real quick, we're gonna go back. You haven't built an elevator in 8 years. You say that as if like everybody does that. So what was the last time you built an elevator?
I'm not entirely sure. I just remember our coaches being like, well, we've never built an elevator, so we're learning too.
Okay, awesome. Now, just for the folks that don't know what an elevator is, we got some B-roll and everything else. We definitely got the elevator system. But what is an elevator? What does that look like on your robot this year?
We chose a simple cascading elevator, so it has 3 stages, and with the pulley system, it's able to lift the head that we have on it all the way up to the point that we want it to be at.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, our robot, it's got 4 levels to it. It's got 3 levels. It's got the base level, and then it's got a second level, and it's got like a carriage in it that goes up by stage. It's pretty fast, like a forklift kind of.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So, like a forklift, actually, that's exactly what it does look like. You're right.
Yes.
So how tall can the robot get?
It could drop an algae in the barge, so roughly between 80 and 90 inches.
Okay, so well, that's like 6'4", 6'3", somewhere around that. Yeah.
Something like that.
Look, I can math every now and then, but so you guys just got off the field, everything else. I'm guessing that's besides practice, that is probably your first like run on the field. What do you guys think of the field, of the game pieces, of all that fun stuff?
I like it. I like the setup because it's really easy to see where everything is. Especially with, like, it's not easy to see the back of the reef station, but at the same time, it's pretty much from every drive station, it's pretty easy to see your barges and all that stuff.
I love it, especially because you don't ever have to leave your side of the field unless you want to go to the barge, which is amazing. I love it so much.
Now, the game itself, and typically we do, I mean, today has been a lot of just like talking, build, everything else like that, but a little bit of strategy when it does coming out. I mean, week 0 strategy is what for you guys?
It's a lot of just seeing what other teams have incorporated into their design, and a lot of seeing like just how can we ourselves as well take what we've made and make it better.
Yeah, for us it's a lot of looking at other teams' robots and just seeing what we can use for their robots to make ours just more efficient.
Perfect. Favorite part of this year's game. What if there's one thing that you're like, yeah, this is my favorite part of this game, what is that?
I'm not entirely sure. I haven't thought about it that much. I'd probably have to say, I don't really know. I haven't had enough time to think about it.
I like that the reef, how it has many different levels, but it's all in one area. I like that so much.
what do you think the hardest part of this year's game is going to be?
Consistency.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I definitely think consistency is going to be pretty hard with everything.
Now, real quick, just because we do have a nice backdrop, everything else, these hanging, like, they look like cages. Right? Yeah. So these hanging cages, could you explain a little bit more? What are those? Again, we've only gone through like, 2-3 games. Haven't really seen too much with it. So what is the cage aspect of this game?
The cage aspect, there's a short cage and a deep cage. So the short cage is the one up at the top, and then the deep cage is the one down at the bottom. The objective is to try and climb off of it and get off the ground. And I think one reason why we haven't seen much of that today, and we're probably not going to see much of it until end of week 1, maybe week 2, just because of how difficult it is to find a mechanism that will be able to take your 110, 15-pound robot off the ground into this little 8-inch space of a cage.
Yeah, I think it's a little complicated to climb on it because you're gonna like leverage it into your robot to like balance, and it's really tricky. You can't touch the chain, so that makes it even harder.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you can't even go. Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
You're not allowed to touch the top plate at all. You can touch the bottom of the top plate, but anything above that, you're not allowed. There's like a major penalty for that.
Wow. Okay, I will be very interested to see how folks design and everything else with the build team and everything like that. Because I'm not gonna lie, when I saw it, I was like, oh, just grab the top of it. And who cares?
That's
right?
what I thought too.
Yeah. No, that's perfect. Okay, so what are you guys hoping to leave week 0 with? Are you hoping to, just be like, oh, I mean, obviously, robot doesn't break. That's probably number 1. But what is the thing we're hoping to learn here?
We're hoping to gain more knowledge of what can we do to make our robot more effective on actual field space. Because with the field elements that are provided, it's very difficult to build those at home in your own shop. And so figuring out how we can best go about practicing at home.
Yeah, this is our first time running on a full field, so I just want to go home with knowing the distances of everything and how to actually work with it.
Okay, perfect. Well, thank you both so much for talking. It's been fantastic. Hopefully week 0 works out exactly how you want and you get all the measurements you need out there. For everybody else, we'll be right back.
And welcome back to the YLE Robotics Show, and we're here at week 0, Ashby, Minnesota. Give us your team name and your names.
We are the Otterbots from Fergus Falls, Minnesota. My name's Braden.
I'm Eric Swanson.
I'm Micah Mosier.
I'm Logan Bradenberg.
And I'm Micaiah Abramson.
And I don't want to get hung up on the robot there. And so each of you guys have a specific role on the team. What is that exactly?
This year I'm the operator.
I'm the programming leader.
I'm the pit crew.
I'm the driver. And I'm also the pit crew.
All right. And so I see you guys are pretty far along here. How do you guys feel about going into week 0 so far?
I guess we're feeling pretty good right now. Not everything is on that we wish we had on, but the progress has been very substantial the past few weeks, and so we're feeling pretty good.
All right, and how do you guys? What do you guys wish to take away today from week 0?
I guess we're just hoping to get used to the new field. We don't have an official field at home with all the right elements, so we're just trying to, get sizing correct, making sure everything can score properly. But yeah.
Now, what is probably the hardest part about designing this?
I guess we've been having a lot of trouble with handling the algae, the big balls. Being able to use this mechanism right here for both the coral pipes and the algae has been really difficult. So that's kind of our latest challenge right now.
How many hours a week do you guys spend working on this?
Well, we have 2 to 3 weekdays that we spend from about 3 hours, and then we have a Saturday work day where we're there from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m.
What is your guys? What is your favorite thing about competing at these competitions?
I don't know. I enjoy hanging out. I like watching the other robots run around, and it's pretty fun.
You guys have a favorite team you like to compete against or like to watch?
I think Inconceivable is definitely one up there.
Binary Battalion last year was a lot of fun, especially since they made it to Einstein, so that'll be interesting to watch this year.
What is the thing you guys are most excited about going into the competition?
Probably just seeing the other robots, seeing how good they all are. It's a week 1 regional, so it's never going to be quite as top tier as the World Championship, but yeah.
Are you guys competing in Duluth and Grand Forks, or both? Or
both this year for the first time.
All right, and what's your favorite thing about the competition going into that?
I don't know. It's all a lot of fun. There's really no negatives to it. It's really just fun to see the other teams, watch them compete, and compete with our own robot is always fun. So,
all right. I wish you guys the best of luck this season, and it's week 0 here at Ashby, Minnesota. We'll be back with more of the YLE Robotics show right after this.
Well, welcome back to week 0 here at Ashby, and honestly, it is not a Your Live event show unless we're kicking it off with Rick here from Chaotic Robotics. So, question is, how you doing?
Hey man, I'm always doing good. It's always great to see you.
Absolutely. So, last time we talked, everything else, it was the end of the year event. It was the end of the year event. Not only that, I mean, you guys kind of cleaned up out there.
We did good. We played real well there, so we're happy.
Okay,
we're in a good spot.
Absolutely. Now, coming off of that game, going into this game, what's the big difference? Not just game pieces and everything else, but what has been the big difference?
Students. Obviously, you're a varsity sport for high school, so you have turnover of students. I lost 2 seniors last year that did a majority of the work. They did some teaching, but you can only teach kids so much while you're still trying to get other things done. So there's a learning curve with new students all the time. So
perfect. Now, if I'm not mistaken, because we did grab a few of the students, no seniors this year, is that right?
No seniors on our team this year.
Okay, so that's a double-edged sword, isn't it?
It is. It's one of those things where you're grateful you have a few years with them to teach them the other things that you don't typically get to teach seniors, that they learn from the other classmen, but we get to teach them lots of basic things, and that's what we did. We taught a lot of basics this year, and we still have a functioning robot, and we have a few bugs to work out, just like most people here do, and we'll get them worked out, and it's a learning experience for everybody.
Perfect. Now, okay, so the game was announced, the 6th of January? So it was that second week of
the first weekend of January, January 4th.
Okay, so January 4th. It was announced January 4th. It is now the 15th of February.
Yes.
We've talked with so many students, everything else already, and gotten there, like, hey, it's a short time and it's week 0, and there's a lot of functioning driving robots out there this year. But my question for you, being a mentor, a coach, a mentor, what is that turnaround like, going from we don't know what this game is to, okay, we're now here?
So it's literally what you would think it would be. It is crazy. For us, it's chaotic. It is for most teams. It's complete chaos for weeks on end. It's late nights. It's long hours. It's they still have schoolwork to do. For me, I don't work at the school.
Right.
I'm a coach outside of. I work in the industry, so I have to go to work and do my normal 40-hour-a-week job, and still come and coach robotics in the evenings, and we find time to do it.
And again, talking with the students and finding times to do it, I was hearing students were here working on stuff till like 11 11 midnight last night.
It takes a lot. They were here setting up the field last night. They started at like 12:30, and I don't think they got out of here till after 11 last night, trying to get all of the stuff done and ready to go for today. It's a lot. A lot of teams yesterday, knowing that week 0 is today, were in their shops late, trying to get the robots running, done, ready to go. It is what it is. I mean, we do it because the kids love it.
Absolutely. Now, you have an interesting outlook in this as well, because like you said, you're not a teacher, you're not with the students, you're not at the schools and stuff like that. Like you said, you have a normal job that you go to every single day and everything like that. Now, looking at the students, and not like obviously really concentrate on your students, but looking at all these students and seeing the dedication, taking off the mentor hat and putting on the, hey, I'm a worker, I'm an everyday Joe. Seeing that dedication now, what does that mean to you?
So, a lot of industries that know anything about FIRST Robotics and what these students go through, if they see you were on a FIRST Robotics team on your application, you get put right on the top of the pile. They know what this dedication is. They know what it takes. They know what kind of a team player you are. And that's what most companies are looking for. So we teach those skills to students. We teach students how to talk to people.
Yes.
It's not. It's very seldom is it about a robot. I mean, the robot stuff is great. Don't get me wrong, but it's the interviewing that we do and just simple writing. How many students don't know how to write? Put an address on an envelope, or just the simple soft skills that you have to teach students, and we do it all. We teach it all.
And that's you use a perfect term there, and that is the soft skills. I mean, my goodness, look, everything's fantastic. You get so much, hard skills, as in like, hey, you're learning how to handle a robot program, all this other stuff. But like you said, everything else, my goodness, is such a big key when it comes to grown-up adult living life and everything else. I mean, it is awesome to see just what you guys are able to do with these students. I mean, I'm forgetting who I talked to, but somebody put it very well, where it's like, look, we're not really teaching kids how to build robots, we're building kids to be adults.
We build better students one robot at a time.
Yeah, perfect. That's how we
put it. It's just so much simpler that way.
It is. Now, okay, we got the heavy stuff out of the way. Yep. We did our pitch. Why robotics is so fantastic, and seriously, check it out if you haven't already.
Yes, do.
Oh my goodness! Ask your schools. Bug whoever you need to bug. But the game this year. What is your thoughts on the game this year?
You start out week 0 or week 1, and you start looking at how to play the game, and there's so much stuff going on all the time in this game. It's not like last year's game where it's full contact, and you're having to run full field cycles. I can stay in my side of the field and never have to go to the other side if I don't want to, which is great if that's what you want to do. Or you could go to the other side of the field and try to play defense. So I mean, we look at what's going to be the best for what your team is capable of building. Initially, I'm looking at game pieces and how to manipulate them. And we talk a lot about game piece manipulation with students and the physics behind it. Right. How do you plan on doing this? What's going to be your best practice to get this particular object from point A to point B?
Right. And real quick, because 1 second. Oh no, avalanche. Okay, here we go. So this is one of the game pieces.
Yes.
It is just a giant...
it's a 16-inch kickball.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. I was going to say dodgeball, but yes, it's a kickball. That's exactly what it is. So you guys get this piece.
Yep.
And what is your first reaction to this game piece?
From my engineering background, my first thought is how do I hold this? how much can I squeeze this and it not go pop?
Right.
You know, all of those. I look at how big is it, how heavy is it, how much manipulation is this going to take to go from here to where it needs to go on the field? What are the physics behind it? And we teach a lot of physics, manipulation and physics. So I look at it, like most people, they take it, they bounce it on the floor,
right,
and you kind of kick it around the shop a little bit with your foot and go, man, if that's rolling around the field, how am I going to get at that? How do I get it?
Right.
How do you pick it up? So there's a lot of thought process that goes behind how to manipulate game pieces and what do you do? How do you do it?
Okay. Now, that's your first reaction to it. What were the students' first reaction to it?
That thing's going to be really heavy and hard to manipulate and move anywhere.
So same thing. Basically, yeah. No, that's crazy. That's crazy.
And that's part of that is because most of them have been on the team since they were 7th graders, so they've heard me talk about those types of things before. How to manipulate it, how to. The initial thought is once I touch it, how do I own it? I don't ever want to be able to let it go unless I tell it I don't want it anymore.
All right.
So if I grab it and hold it until my robot says spit that out, I don't want it to come out of there.
Perfect. Now, week 0 practice, it's preseason, right? You're learning a lot here. We ask this to the students all the time. What is their big? What do you want the big takeaway? Everything else for a mentor. What is the takeaway you're hoping to take away from this, and what's the takeaway you're hoping the students take away from this?
Confidence.
Okay.
I want them to realize that they designed something that could be used to play on a world stage. Because it's not just a Minnesota thing. It's not a United States thing. It's a world thing. We do this around the world. So for us to compete, there's no classes. It's not like a Class A or a Class B type of a thing. You compete against teams from all over the world with, it don't matter their school size. We go against engineering prep schools. That's what they're in school to do, is engineering prep. This is right up their alley.
Yeah. But all right, well, Matt, it's always great talking with you.
It's always good.
It's always great. Thank you so much for your time.
Always awesome to see you.
For everybody else, we'll be right back.